عارف ليش انت هون؟
اي نعم.
ليه؟
بدي اشتكي على اهلي.
ليه بدك تشكي على اهلك؟
انهم خلفوني.
If we don't want to at least dream of a better world or work for it, I mean, it's not worth it. It's not worth even, waking up in the morning. Also in an age where social media is becoming really harsh and people are like, everybody is a judge and everybody's judging and it's sort of this crazy time. They understood that they are going to be the voice of those kids that they knew, or the situations that they've been through, or other kids that they've seen suffer.
I make movies because I want to talk about things, and things around me affect me all the time.
Cinema is allowing us to turn our anger or our frustration into something positive, because we are talking about it, we are shedding the light about it, we are igniting debate, we are trying to change it. So I think this is our tool for us to at least let go of or turn this anger into something positive.
Do you think the world would be a better place if it would have been run by women all along?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Hello everyone, welcome to Film Compact. There is cinema, then there is good cinema, and then there is great cinema. And then there is the type of cinema which hits you at the core of your heart. It gives you an experience which gets you immersed and challenges you to think about yourself and the world you live in. It provokes you to know more about the people you just saw on the screen, and above all, it makes you empathize with the entire world. Our guest today is a shining proponent of this type of cinema. Today we have with us Nadine Labaki. Nadine is a director, an actor, and an activist from the beautiful and diverse country, Lebanon. Her film Caramel or Shukar Banat premiered at the Cannes in 2007. Her second film, Where Do We Go Now, premiered as the part of the Uncertain Regard section of Cannes in 2011. Her last film, Capernaum, among multiple other accolades, won the jury prize at the 2018 Cannes Film Festival. Today here, we will try to discuss a cinema which has so beautifully captured our society and in turn captured our imaginations as well. We are truly privileged to have you with us today, Nadine. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Nadine, my first question to you is that in your first two feature films, Shukar Banat and Where Do We Go Now, you had handled some very sensitive and critical subjects, for instance, virginity, homosexuality, or religion. We will come back to these films in some time for more details, but they must not have been very easy subjects to handle. But you had worked on a more light-hearted approach there, communicating everything that is needed, and there's always a sense of melancholy, and yet there is some relief for the audience as we watch it. In Capernaum, however, you deny us any kind of relief whatsoever. You hold everyone by the collar. And when and how did you realize that for this film, that is Capernaum, approaching the way the head-on approach is the only way to go about it?
This was something really instinctive, because when you are talking about subjects that are so poignant and really almost existential and very difficult, and when you are dealing with people's also trying to reflect people's real lives and real struggle in life, you can't really take it lightly. It was a big responsibility. So it was very, very important for me first that I research a lot and that I base it on things that I've really seen, situations that I've really witnessed, people that have been through those situations or these struggles, and really build everything around their voice in a way. And I just wanted to become, in a way, as much as I can, the vehicle for them to really express what they are going through. So it was very important that it was a collaborative process between me and them, in order to really shed the light in the most truthful way possible on those struggles. So it was it was a very long process, very difficult process. It was almost, destructive for me. And so it's destructive emotionally and physically, because I really had to tell the truth, about what's happening. So it was a very difficult 5 or 7 years of my life, and I'm still not over it yet.
I actually wanted to talk about that. Before jumping to the question, I wanted to talk about my experience of watching Capernaum. I watched it in the Busan Film Festival, and after Capernaum, I had actually 2 films to watch. It was in my schedule. But then when the film finished, I could not go and get into those movies. One, because of the impact, and second, I don't know, Nadine, I was feeling that I have been a part of that universe, and now that I will go out and watch another movie, I felt like betraying these characters. I don't know. I mean, it came to me like that. And that must have happened with so many others. But you tell me, that was me, an audience. But you have been working with them, have given your years to this project. Then it eventually finishes. How do you go to the next subject with the next collaboration or next topic? How was this process? It must be very difficult, right?
It is, yes, it is. It is really difficult. And the proof is that I haven't been working on my next film yet, because it's been difficult. I mean, not only that, the whole journey was a very enriching journey, but at the same time, it tells you so much about the world we live in and the failures of the systems that we live in, and you understand that there's so much to do and so much to change. And you feel very hopeless in a way, and not hopeless. I still have hope, but helpless. You feel like, after being immersed in those reality, you think, okay, so where do we start? If I want, in a way, to be part of some kind of change, where do I start? Of course, I started with making a film because it was the only tool that was in my hand. But then after the film, how do you keep going? How do you keep trying to initiate this change? Because there's so many things that need to be changed. Otherwise, I mean, if we don't want to at least dream of a better world or work for it, I mean, it's not worth it. It's not worth even, waking up in the morning. So you feel helpless in a way because you don't know where to start. The problem is so big. So then after that, obviously, also the situation in Lebanon, right? 2 years after, or a year and a half after the film was released, it really exploded. I mean, what we were talking about in the film was, in a way, a bit in the behind the scenes. People were not truly, some people of course were aware of it, but lots of people were not really aware of what was happening. And then it really exploded, and the whole country is collapsing right now and went through the most difficult economical crisis in its history. And then of course the pandemic hit. It hit very hard here because of the economical situation. And then we had the Beirut, the port blast, unfortunately. So we've been living in a very, very difficult, in very difficult circumstances. So it's been hard. It's been hard to think about the next project or know how to tackle, in a way, the themes that I'm obsessed with, or the themes that I want to talk about. Also in an age where social media is becoming really harsh, and people are like, everybody is a judge and everybody's judging, and it's sort of this crazy time we live in where everything is canceled, this sort of cancel culture, and you don't know as an artist what you can tackle as subject, or in which angle, or what you're allowed to talk about. And as artists, it's very important that we create debate, that we create controversy, that we provoke, that we talk about things that maybe some people don't dare to talk about. So it's difficult to be very now, an artist now. It's a difficult time, and the political correctness that is almost censoring everybody. So it's hard. It's hard. I can't tell you that it's been easy. That's why maybe I tried to keep working in a different way. I was acting in the meantime, and it allowed me also to keep my sanity for a while and be on a film set, but in a different way.
Right. Talking about acting, Nadine, I mean, again, something that hit me when I had watched Capernaum is, first, I wanted to know that these children whom you were working with, did they know what you were trying to do? Did they have this idea of what you were trying to do? And particularly, how did you get those scenes of treasure? I mean, Shubhati was just talking about not being relief in Capernaum, but those smiles of treasure might be the relief for us because they kept us going in spite of what we were seeing on the screen. What was the process of capturing them? Because he didn't understand any instructions, right?
I mean, for the baby, of course, it was. What is? I think when you're working with children, I've learned that it's my, if you want, my job to adapt to them. It's not the other way around. When you are on a film set, everybody's adapting to your vision. Everybody's, whether actors or crew, or you are always trying to fit all those people and all those, different how do you say, components of your film to your vision. In this situation, it was the other way around. So for me, it was very, especially knowing that I will be working with children, I knew from the start that I will have to adapt to them. I will have to adapt to their needs, to their rhythm. It was mostly for them, for children, it's a matter of reaction, not action. So they react to something that I do as a filmmaker or we do as a crew. So we set up the whole situation for them to react to it. So this was the way to go about working with treasure, especially, and with very, very young children. In this case of Zayn and all the other actors that are older, like Zayn's sister in the film and Zayn and everybody else, it was a different process because they understood really what they were doing. They understood what was their mission, and they felt part of their mission. They understood that they are going to be the voice of those kids that they knew, or the situations that they've been through, or other kids that they've seen suffer. So it was a different, it was a different approach. So, I've learned that for me to really capture the truth of whether children or adults or people who have never acted in their lives, it was important that I adapt to their needs and so we tried as much as we can as film crew to be the most adaptable possible, and to be the most mobile possible, and to be the most invisible possible, because also you cannot really interfere with what life is going to give you and structure it too much and invade, the life, or invade the truth of a moment with your cameras and your film crews and your lighting and your vans and
Right.
and your instructions. So it was like a dance, really. It was like a choreography between us as a crew and the actors and the children and the situations. It was a very, very interesting process, and I really love it.
What was the reaction when they first saw the film on screen?
When they saw that, you mean the actors?
Yes. The children.
it was a very surprising moment for them, because obviously, of course, most of them had never been to a movie theater before.
Right.
I mean, especially the children. And Zayn watched it fully the first time when we were in Cannes, because after the film was finished, after the shooting was finished, Zayn was resettled with his family. They all went to live in Norway because they were, refugees living in Lebanon, and the situation was very difficult. So we worked very closely with UNHCR, and after the film, they were all relocated to Norway, where they were able to go to school and all of that. So we got a little bit separated after the film was shot. So during the editing period, he was not here, and then we met in Cannes, and this is where he saw the film for the first time, and it was a huge moment for him. Obviously, he didn't know, he didn't know what the reaction of the people was going to be. He didn't know how the film was going to end, because obviously, he's shooting and we're shooting, and I explained to him the situation and the scene, but not necessarily in the right order. So it was very, very, very surprising for them.
At the very start, you posed this very difficult question in Capernaum, that why give birth when you cannot afford to take care? There's also this extremely critical statement which almost breaks your heart when one of the characters says, I need some proof that you are a human being. Now, both of these are such politically, economically, and socially intertwined problems that one kind of feeds on the other. And it's so difficult to arrive at a point of intervention to break the loop. What do you feel is the best point of intervention? Like, what should be done? Population control, a better refugee handling process, or something else?
This is a big question, and there's not one answer to it. There isn't one way of solving the problem. It's not like a magic wand, and then the film is not about people who cannot afford to have children. It's about people who cannot give love to their children. So it's if you compare the situation of Rahil in the film and the situation of Zayn's parents, Rahil is as deprived, or even more deprived than Zayn's parents. But Rahil is able to nurture and give love and take care, and so it's not at all about their financial situation. It's about how are you able to nurture this child and give this child the love that a child needs. It's been proven that the brain, scientifically proven, the brain of a child that is loved is like beautiful and round like a ball, and the brain of an unloved child is like a rotten apple, if you compare both. So the nurturing and the love and the affection that parents have on their children, especially from 0 to 6, is the most important base for them. So, and also there's a big blame on the systems. The system is not finding the right solutions for people who are marginalized from society, for people who are living in invisible communities, for people who are completely deprived, for stateless people, for refugees. I mean, there's a whole reshuffling of the system that needs to be done in order to take into consideration the case of all this huge population of people that are living on the margins of our societies. Some of them, some of the kids I used to meet don't have papers, are completely invisible from the system, can go to school because they don't have, they are paperless. some of them don't even know their exact date of birth. So some of them have never actually celebrated their birthday. Nobody has ever told them, you are important to me. The day you came to this life, I'm celebrating the day you came to this life. I'm celebrating who you are. So some of them have no respect for themselves. You know, they feel really invisible. So it's some of them have no education. So it's a whole reshuffling of the system that, you know, so social justice, free education for all, being able to be registered or in the system without having to pay anything, being able to be taken care of the first years of your life. I mean, the whole system should be changed. So to answer your question, there isn't one way of tackling the problem. There's so many things that we need to really think about.
Nadine, you mentioned education, and one of the things that was very notable in Capernaum is, you know, Zane feels like an adult, not only in his conversation, but in his knowledge. Like he helps his sister with the sanitary pads. Like he is always calculating his options. And, you know, he's taking decisions like an adult, not out of emotions. And later, but then he does not have a formal education as such, you know, the conventional education. And then I was preparing for this discussion, and I understood that for your daughter, you are not endorsing a formal education. And I wanted to know, you know, so what is your take in this education for children, and uh, absolutely understand what you are trying to do with your daughter. But I wanted your take on that. What do you feel is the right way, and how conventional education is not achieving that for us?
I think conventional education is not really adapting to human needs or to our children's needs anymore. I mean, there's still there is a lot that need to be changed. You know, more arts should be introduced in schools. Empowerment should be introduced in schools. It should be free education for all. I don't believe in the separation between private schooling and public schooling. I think they should both be on this. I mean, I don't believe in private education. I believe in public education, and that everybody should have the same access to the same kind of education, to the same level of education. And in this education, I mean, it should be more catered to our children's need, in the sense that, like I told you, introducing more art, introducing theater and dance and music and all kinds of arts, introducing agriculture, introducing I don't know, cooking, empowering people and children in their everyday life. It's not only about you know, your academic level. It's not only about that. There's so many things that we need to. I mean, I hate homework. I don't think children should have homework after coming back to school. They have already been spending 8 hours in school, or I don't know how many hours sitting down and not being even able to share information or to debate about something. I mean, our children are being only recipients. They are only receiving informations in our traditional system. They are not debating. They are not sharing information. They are not questioning. So it's I mean, I think should be all rethought. So in that sense, that's why I'm trying, you know, more unconventional system of education, you know, for my daughter. I might be wrong, but at least I want to, you know, experiment it and see where it leads, and giving her, you know, a bit more freedom. You don't have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to school. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Why do our children have to be punished from 3 to 18 years old? Why is it a punishment? Why is it perceived as something that is a punishment? Why is you know, receiving information or, learning about things in life. It doesn't have to be. It can be done in such, so many different ways.
I think we have got Anurag. I will just admit him.
We have Anurag.
Yes, I think he's
Yeah.
just adding.
Hi, Anurag. Can you hear us?
Hey. Hello.
How are you? How was life?
I'm good. How are you? Oh, it's been such a long time.
How big are your
Where-
kids? Oh, you have 3 now, right?
No, I have 2, 13 and
2.
6 years old. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. Last time
Yeah.
the second one was on the way.
Yeah. She's 6 now.
What are you
No,
doing?
it's
Another film?
no. I've been telling them that it's been hard after everything that's happened here in Lebanon, and during this crisis, it's been difficult really to work on a new project. But it's gonna come. It's gonna come soon.
Yeah, I was following that on Instagram a lot. Your film
Yeah.
is so popular in India.
Yeah. Is
So
it?
popular in India. And when you're looking for the funding to finish it, and I reached out to people, and after that, when the film came out, and everybody said, "Why didn't you tell me it was this film?"
Yeah.
It's like one of those very few foreign languages film available on Amazon Prime, and people just love it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, people identify, especially in India, in a place like India, where also people, identify, and
There's a very
strong
identification with the film. Very strong.
Yeah. And how is the pandemic situation?
It's better. Cinemas have opened up now.
Good.
A lot of Hollywood films and lots of very big movies flooding the cinemas. So all the independent movies have to wait in line. So all the kind of a lot of other movies are just waiting out for the big movies to kind of come and go.
So, yeah.
Before my film that I'll probably have to wait 8-9 months before I can even put it on in cinemas. So it's difficult.
I can't wait to watch them. And are you going to any festival with the films?
Right now, no. See, because the film that I've made is not really the kind of a film that would go to a festival. So I'm not even sending it, because the kind of the film that I want to make, I've been sitting on it for 3 years now, but nobody would allow me to make it. So it's this stuff. So right now I'm doing work on hire. I'm literally, it's like doing work on hire just to sustain my team.
It's like surviving. Yeah.
Surviving right now. I saw your Instagram post about what happened in Lebanon and things, and it's like, has it eased down? Has it become better after that crazy?
No, the economical situation is really, really bad. I mean, more than half of the Lebanese population are living under poverty line. So you can, a bit imagine how difficult the situation is. But we are, hopeful, still hopeful, always hopeful that we get rid of the political class that has put us in this situation, and that maybe in the next parliamentary elections we, the alternative is there, and the opposition wins. I don't know. I'm always hopeful in a way.
It's difficult because last time I remember I was in Lebanon, people were putting out garbage on the street.
Yeah. You were there. You were here during the garbage crisis.
I was there.
When are you coming back?
I will come soon. I need to get out of there. I'll be passing through Lebanon. I'll come for the food.
So I think both of you are not only filmmakers, but also have come across as a voice of protest for your respective countries through your cinema or otherwise. Nadine, we are talking about it, and we have seen you on streets during the Beirut explosions. And Anurag, I really do not need to get into the details of protest of what has happened to you and what have you done. But tell me, when you are working for a film, how does the balancing happen so that the anger or the protest does not override the art of the filmmaking itself? If I could start with Anurag.
There's no balancing in the sense, the fact that you are an artist and I make movies because I want to talk about things, and things around me affect me all the time. And so for me, cinema sometimes is a way of also chronicling the times that you're living in. So in the sense, if I take away the politics from it, if I take away everything that's happening around me from it, then for me, there is no cinema there. Cinema can either be that or personal. And when it's deeply personal, also, there is some kind of a personal politics into it. And both make people in India uncomfortable. So I don't think there's a balance. I can't balance it. I don't know how to balance it. If I could
Whatever.
balance it, I would be making films in last 2 years. Last 2 years, I haven't made a film because I can't balance it. I would have moved abroad and made films in the language. So I can't help it. It is how it is. I'm still trying to do things. I've written 8 scripts in last 2 years. If any gets made, so let's see. Nadine,
Nadine, yeah, please.
I agree. I agree with Anurag. I agree with everything he said, because it's when you live in countries where there's everything to be changed, where nothing is really going the way it should, where it's a constant anger and frustration, but also a lot of love. So it's a mixture between love and hate in a way. So you can't help but be, absorb it and want to talk about it and want to change things, and turning your anger into maybe something positive. I think it's the only thing that keeps us going. Is really cinema is allowing us to turn our anger or our frustration into something positive, because we are talking about it, we are shedding the light about it, we are igniting debate, we are trying to change it. So I think this is our tool for us to at least let go of or turn this anger into something positive. I know a few weeks ago, I came across a nurse, an interview with a nurse that was leaving the country, and she was leaving Lebanon for good. And she was crying and she was very upset. But she said Lebanon is like a drug. It's both addictive, but it's very bad for you. So it's the case, in those kinds of countries where you feel like you belong, but there's so many things that need to change the whole time, and it's a mixture of, unfortunately, sometimes negative emotions, but that lead to positive actions.
Right.
Yeah, we are fortunate that we have a tool, we have an art form that we can use to put out there.
Absolutely.
Imagine those people who are out on the streets, literally just shouting and being on hunger strike and going through everything, and they don't have any other tool except just hoping that somebody will hear their voice. So we are very fortunate.
Absolutely.
Nadine, I wanted to ask you about Caramel. And I wanted to ask you that it is such an amazing film, first of all, and hardly have we watched any such portrayal of women from the Arab world, especially in any other film. You play a central character in the film, but we hear that for most of the other female characters, you went ahead and you casted non-actors, like after a good amount of scouting. It was your first film as well. So why did this idea come to you of casting non-actors in Caramel or Shukar Banan?
Like I said before, I've always tried as much as I can to, in a way, look for the truth in the character. So I prefer the word being, not the word acting. So it doesn't mean that I don't love, and appreciate actors' work and their process and all of that. But until now, I've felt this need to at least have characters or personalities or people that have already been in sort of the same situation that we are talking about in the film. Because I'm looking for that truth in them. I'm looking for their own experience in those situations that we have created, in the fiction that we have created. So it's always been a mixture between fiction and reality. So I'm looking for that reality in those people that I choose. I'm looking for I'm looking to dig in their own experience in life and bringing that experience in the fiction that I have created, and I like them. I like to use the word be. Just be who you are in this situation. Behave like who you are, really, as closely to your personality as possible in this situation. So it's always a mixture for me between fiction and reality. But it doesn't mean that I don't love, actors and their process, but it was just for me a need for those specific films. Later on in life, or when I do my next film, maybe I will be working with, professional actors and maybe experimenting a different process. But for now, that has been my process.
And talking about where do we go now, Nadine? I mean, it's such an interesting film. It kind of feels, all the male in the film are like kids and the women are like mothers who are taking care of them, telling them don't make this mistake and pulling them from making mistakes. Do you think, and then, the last part, I wanted to know what was the reaction in the country when you actually gave, I'm not telling a solution, but you give this hypothetical situation where they change the religions, interchange religion, and that brings that, balancing, that calming effect. They do not know whom to fight anymore.
I was in Lebanon the day that film released in Lebanon.
Okay. That's great. So you must be able to tell the reaction.
Because I was there for a festival. There's a tiny festival in the underground cinema hall. It was during that time it released. And I went to cinema and there was a kind of a euphoria amongst women.
Yeah.
I cannot believe, Anurag, what will be the reaction if this comes in a film in India. So I just wanted to know what happened as a reaction from the media or, the Lebanese community.
You're talking about the reaction to Where Do We Go Now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The reaction was really, really very positive because people identified, they identified so much to the situation. And we have been through many different wars in Lebanon. Mainly religion was mainly one of the biggest causes. And the fact that it's been, we unfortunately, we belong to this culture of being more, I'm trying to find the word fidel, being part of a group, not really being part of a country. It's like this culture of belonging to a group, whether it's a football team, or whether it's a religion, or whether it's a sect, or whether it's a confession, or whether it's a political party. This sort of belonging to a group and not really feeling of belonging to a whole country. This has been going on for quite a while in Lebanon, and so I think it's our biggest curse, and this is why in the film I just wanted to why can't we try to be in the shoes of this other person or this other group and understand their point of view and why? And I think it's if we want to solve every problem we have is really by trying to understand where this other person is coming from, be in their shoes for a while, understand them, why do they behave this way, why are they this way, and then most of our problems can be solved. I don't know if it's naive of me to think that way, but that's how I think. And unfortunately, men have been very, very taking arms very easily throughout history. It's not really the solution. It's not really the solution. I think war is the most stupid way to solve a problem. Taking a rifle or shooting at somebody or hitting somebody is really the stupidest solution to a problem.
Absolutely. It's anything but naive, because what you do is you take the institution out of the religion. So the religion remains, but the institution part is out. And I mean, that's what maybe a lot of us is looking at. Also, tell me something, for Where Do You Go Now? do you think, I mean, maybe hypothetical, but do you think the world would be a better place if it would have been run by women all along?
Yes, absolutely yes.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's not black or white. I think I'm not. I think, I mean, we can debate for years about that.
Yes.
It all depends on who you are, how you were brought up. It's not a question of gender. I don't think it's a question of gender. I think
Also,
um,
they biologically have more empathy and
yeah,
sensitivity compared to a lot of world leaders who
compared to men. Yeah. Yeah, we can say men, but definitely world leaders. I don't think the world has been led by many sensitive or delicate or clever, really, people, unfortunately. And I think the world would be a better place if it was run by artists, not necessarily by women artists, by artists in general, women and men. I mean, equally. Yeah.
We wish we could have done that.
Yeah.
We can only
Yeah.
wish. We can only wish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one last question before we really end this conversation. Nadine, apart from being an artist, as you have said, you are an activist, and of course, your films are a part of the same activism. But you participated as an electoral candidate previously, which is the more conventional approach. We are aware of your campaigns after the Beirut blast, and thank you so much for raising the awareness there. Now, there's this idea across the world, and definitely in our country, that if you get involved in active politics, there's no way avoiding getting involved in corruption in some way or the other. Not necessarily corruption for serving yourself, but to do the right thing. Right can also not be done as per the laws of the book, and violations are a must. Do you believe in that? Like, do you think a brand of politics can be practiced without any sort of corruption?
I mean, like everything, of course, it all depends on your nature. I believe in it. Yes, I believe in it. I mean, for me, politics is about reforms, is about social justice, is about finding, solutions for people, is about. I don't see it. I don't see politics, or I think the definition of politics should be redefined in that way. It's about changing laws. It's about making a world a better place. This is how it should be. Obviously, it's not the case anywhere in the world, or very rarely this is the case. But I believe that the whole representation system should be changed. I think the whole electoral systems should be changed. I truly believe that we need a complete shift into an alternative way of living, thinking, alternative systems, alternative redefining lots of terms that we are used to, breaking this sort of brainwash, changing maybe trying to listen more to the real needs of us human beings, as opposed to what we think we need. This whole consumerism, excessive consumerism. I don't think the global capitalism is working anymore. There are things that need to really change if we want to, get to a world that is somehow better than the world we live in right now.
Yeah, we need a more inclusive world and more like social capitalism or social democracy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Social democracy. Yeah. Social democracy, I think, is the I don't know if it's the answer, but at least is the way to a much more fair world.
Right. Well, I think we are towards the end of our discussion, and Nadine, thank you so much. And Anurag, what do we say? How can we thank you? We don't know. But Nadine, really, before we let you go, Before we let you go, I would like to say that when we saw your films, we got to know about a new country. We discovered Lebanon, and we understood the diversity of the country. And thank you so much for that. And I think your films have opened the way we see Middle East. And I think we cannot thank you enough for that. And please continue to do so. We are big fans of you here in India, and you have a big fan following. And people want to watch your movie.
You have a very big fan base in India. You should come here for one of the festivals.
With pleasure, with pleasure. I love going to India. I love India. The same. The same love you have for me. I think I have the same. I've been fascinated, with your culture. I've been fascinated with the spirituality and all of that. And I'm with pleasure. Once all this pandemic is over,
all the key Indian film festivals are headed by women. I'm going to ask all of them to invite you. So let's see.
Great.
So we will also
Perfect.
do that. Yes.
Perfect.
Great.
Really.
I love to your kids.
Okay. I was so happy to see you, Anurag, and thank you so much, guys, for your support and encouragement. And I hope I will see you one day in India.
Surely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.